Believe it or not, there are some bad Christmas movies and specials that are recommended to stay away from. Here's some of my personal least favorite ones of all time. Hey pups, RB here. Christmas specials, Christmas movies. There's not a bad one out there, right? Well, I hate to break it to ya, but you're wrong. There's actually a few bad ones out there. Today, I'm listing out some of my most hated ones, just to get some holiday angst out of my system. No rules, no dilly-dally, no dishonorable mentions. Let's do this. Also, if you like some of these movies or specials I listed here, I'm sorry to hate on your personal favorites, and please keep in mind that these are my own personal opinions and thoughts on these specials and movies. If you have a Christmas special and or movie that you hate the most, let me know in the comments. Let's do this. For number 5, we have the Star Wars Christmas special. I didn't even hear about this until years later. Chewbacca wants to see his family for the holidays, Darth Vader being Darth Vader, a musical montage or whatever, Harvey Korman cross-dressing, and probably a lot of other stuff that makes it bad. And I'm not even a Star Wars fan, and I already don't want to watch it. Granted, not a bad idea on paper, if it were an animated kiddie show. But I've heard bad things about this one, and I don't think it was re-released or aired again on TV. Yeah, it's on this list because I'm not a Star Wars fan. Moving on. For number 4, we have Jack Frost and Jack Frost 2. I'm cheating on this one, but I don't care. If you're looking for a Christmas horror movie, please, for the love of God and all that is holy, don't watch Jack Frost or its sequel. They're both terrible. Basically, Jack Frost is about a murderer who dies, turns into a murdered snowman, and goes on a spree. He comes back for a winter vacation and continues the spree until he perishes. Now, on paper, Killer Snowman sounds like a fun horror movie, but this movie is not a good time. If some random director is watching this somehow, please remake it and make it actually good. For number 3, we have 8 Crazy Nights. Look, I like Adam Sandler, he's funny, he plays Dracula in the first 3 Hotel Transylvania movies, but honestly, Sandler has a lot of ups and downs when it comes to movies involving comedy. Well, ones that he creates for the most part, or ones that he's involved in, whether it be writing, directing, acting, or all of the above. This includes 8 Crazy Nights. While technically not a Christmas movie, more like a Hanukkah film, it still counts. Look, I get it, there's not a lot of Hanukkah movies, and on paper, the movie seems like a good idea for a Hanukkah film, but again, Sandler kind of failed on that one. Unfortunately. The movie seems far too mean-spirited, and it's almost like a South Park special rather than a movie itself. And South Park has better holiday specials! And this is coming from someone who isn't a fan of South Park. Well, not a huge fan, but still. The movie is way too mean-spirited, has random lull toilet humor that is seen way too much throughout the movie, and it's just not funny at all. Adam Sandler, we love you, but this movie either needs to be remade into something good or just forgotten altogether. And for number 2, we have The Christmas Tree. Why? Why does this movie exist? Who allowed this movie to be made? This movie aired on TV and never again, and you can unfortunately find it on YouTube or on some other video website. There's reviews on how badly made this movie is, from the stiff animation to the terrible voice acting, right down to the storyline, which would be something a preschooler would write. Wait, no, actually, I think a preschooler would write a better script than this garbage had. This movie has terrible written all over it. Everything about it is bad. Honestly, I wouldn't wish this movie on my worst enemy. But here's what I think is the number 1 worst movie/special of all time. And that is Elf. I know I'm already getting rage-filled comments as I talk trash about this movie. I know a lot of people have some cult love for this movie for whatever reason. And call me Snobby Scrooge when it comes to Christmas movies, but this movie is, dare I say, worse than The Christmas Tree in my opinion. At least 8 Crazy Nights tried to be what it is. Elf is just utter nonsense. Everyone I know put this movie on the top of their list. And if I'm being honest here, it's kind of better as a Broadway musical than a movie. Which I think a Broadway musical, or at least I think it's a Broadway musical now, but I could be wrong about that. Correct me if I am. And I would rather have the musical version than the movie itself. Nothing against Will Ferrell, or anyone who has some weird infectious love for this movie, but I hate it with a burning passion. It's just utter nonsense, and I can't watch the first 5 minutes without being bored of the movie 2 minutes after it started. I tried to watch it at one point, I really did, but I couldn't sit even for a minute with this movie. Honestly, if I were tied up and had the choice to be tortured with the Christmas tree, Jack Frost, and 8 Crazy Nights on loop for 30 years, or a 10-year insanity trip with Elf, I'd choose the first option. At least with those movies, I could stand to sit through without wanting to bash my head through a wall. Now, if you love Elf and love watching it throughout the Christmas season, you watch the movie, you enjoy it, you love it with all your heart, just please, for the love of Arceus and all that is holy, don't make me watch it. Please. This is on my absolutely do not watch list. Okay, with all that being said, if you have a Christmas movie or special you hate with an absolute burning hellfiery passion, be sure to share in the comments. And if you like Elf, I'm sorry if I angered your love for Will Ferrell and the movie itself, but I for one just absolutely cannot stand it. That being said, time to fend off an angry elf-loving mob. Cue the outro. RP is out. Peace.